This is no longer a coincidence. Now it's a pattern. You are now within minutes of horror, and your only chances of survival is hitting that like button. With that being said, let's continue on with the video. These freakouts are not condensed to only one area. They are happening all over the world. We had a man in China who saw people from Hollow Earth on his flight. We had a woman in America, North America, saw a man who is not real on her flight that freaked her out, where she had to leave this flight. We had a man, Tom Calling, a British boxer, on his flight to Croatia, saw somebody that scared him so bad, he just hopped out of his seat and ran. It took multiple people to tackle him, and even as they were tackling him, he was still trying to get away, yelling, "It's demonic. He needs to speak to the pilots." And now we have another incident in Russia. Russian flight delayed when passenger freaks out after seeing ghost of Wagner Group mercenaries on plane. Passengers heard this man yelling, "Stop the plane, there's ghost aboard." A man aboard a Russian S-7 Airlines flight was escorted off the plane after allegedly freaking out when he spotted ghost of Wagner Group mercenaries aboard, according to local reports. The man, only identified as Vitaly 39 by Russian outlets Baza and Mash, was seen in a viral video Thursday screaming on a plane set to depart the St. Petersburg-bound flight from Novosibirsk. As this man was yelling for the plane to stop that he sees these ghosts, the crew could not get him to calm down. In the end, the man had to be taken away by police and taken to a psychiatric hospital. Baza noted that the man appeared composed during check-in and boarding procedures, accompanied by his mother, but suddenly jumped out of his seat during taxiing, which is a very similar pattern to these people who are freaking out on these other flights. Nobody noticing anything unusual with these people at the airport, with these people prior to boarding, as they're waiting to board onto the airplane. These freakouts are only occurring during takeoff, while they're in the air, or right before they're about to take off. Now, I know I have a lot of people in the comment section of my prior videos saying that this could be mental illness, schizophrenia, but why is the mental illness only kicking in while they're on the actual plane itself? Then there are people saying this is drugs, this is alcohol. But again, if this was drugs, if this was alcohol, somebody would have reported seeing these people drunk or in a drugged up state prior to them boarding on these flights. And these people are actually pretty coherent when they're on video. The woman who freaked out on her flight was pretty coherent for somebody who was very drunk to the point she's seeing invisible people. Even the New York Post is now saying this case is reminiscent of Tiffany Gomas' viral freakout aboard the American Airlines flight last month, where she is seen yelling that passenger is not real. Now big media is coming out saying that these incidents are similar, that this is similar to the woman who freaked out on her flight. But I have been pointing this out weeks ago, and it's not just who they're calling Tiffany Gomas, but Tom Calling and the Chinese man. These people are all having similar incidents in the span of less than a year. And these similar incidents all connect back to the paranormal. These people aren't saying they're seeing a human trying to do real harm on the plane or feel threatened by an actual human. No, all these people are saying that somebody's not real, demons, ghosts. We do have a pattern here. We can only go by what these people are saying, not these other narratives, not these bogus narratives of people speaking out for them. Like that one woman who said about the woman on the American Airlines flight, that she was sitting next to somebody that was going to threaten to take this plane down. Even though on camera we hear that woman say that man or whoever that is not real. How do you get a person doing terrorist activity to what we see on camera? Those two do not add up whatsoever. There is also the common pattern that we have not heard from these people anymore. By all accounts, they pretty much just disappeared. The woman they're calling Tiffany Gomas has not spoke out about her experience. Tom Calling, the British boxer, has not spoke out about his experience. Even though he's pretty active on Twitter, he has not even given any updates on Twitter. The Chinese man, we haven't heard any updates about his case. And now this man, this Russian man who saw the ghost, has now checked into a psychiatric hospital. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do not hear any more updates about what happened to him or what he saw. I don't know what exactly is happening, but it does seem like there's a veil being lifted, and it's only happening on planes. And oddly enough, this is all happening around the time that the United States government is admitting to the existence of UFOs and aliens. Does it have a connection or anything to do with that? Now, if anybody were to ask me what exactly is happening here, I can only think of two theories. One could be crisis actors, that these people who are preparing for a big staged event that's going to encompass the entire world. This is why we are seeing these events happening in different countries. This is why it's only happening on planes. Project Bluebeam, the fake stage alien war. That aliens are taking the form of humans, and maybe they're taking the form of dead people, of people who have died, and they are spying on planes and spying on our technology. This would go hand in hand with Project Bluebeam. Like I said, this is perfect timing. Right when the United States government releases information about UFOs and aliens being real, we see all these people freaking out on airplanes about people who are not real. And out of all modes of transportation, I would think aliens would want to study and spy on aircraft the most. Now, another theory I do like is the Flight 401 theory. Mr. Ballin told a story about how Flight 401 Eastern Airlines went down in the Everglades in 1972. Now, while there were survivors, there were 101 fatalities, and the plane itself was not totally destroyed. There were salvageable parts. Now, these parts were not wasted. They were used on other planes for Eastern Airlines. Now, when these parts were used on these planes, a veil must have been thinned, because not only passengers saw the ghost of the captains, co-captains, and other staff members of Flight 401, also the captain of those planes started seeing the ghost. And not only did those captains start seeing the ghost, but also the Eastern Airlines CEO saw the ghost of Captain Bob from Flight 401. So you have all these people freaking out because they're seeing ghosts, not real people, on these planes, the same planes that were using the salvaged parts of Flight 401. So is it possible that these airlines are practicing this again, that they're using salvaged parts from planes that have went down? That the spiritual veil is so thinned on these planes due to these spare parts, it's allowing ghosts and other entities to cross over onto these planes. I don't know what exactly is happening here, but like I said, there is a pattern now. But what do you believe? What theory do you believe that's happening on these planes that's causing all these people to freak out in a similar fashion? I do want to hear from you. Please comment below. In any case, thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.